My name is Bruya, and I'm Fulbright Senior Scholar at National Taiwan University, and my home institution is Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti, Michigan, where I'm in the Department of History and Philosophy. My specialty is non-Western philosophy, specifically Chinese philosophy. My project is called Cross-Cultural Philosophy in the Classroom. So I came here to teach graduate level classes in comparative philosophy. So I taught a class last semester in comparative theory and this semester in comparative practice. Comparative philosophy is an interesting field. Right now, as you know, the world is globalizing and internationalizing. This has been a trend for decades now. In the States, though, in philosophy programs, the trend has seemed to pass them by. So in most philosophy programs in the States, even in the best funded, most famous programs, it's rare to find people who have philosophical specialties in traditions outside of the European tradition. So doing comparative philosophy in the States is always a challenge. On the other hand, in Taiwan, although there's a strong tradition of Chinese philosophy and a strong tradition of European philosophy, the two often don't talk to each other. And so in one sense, it's a perfect opportunity to do comparative philosophy. In another sense, they're just not used to doing it. So coming here to do comparative philosophy is a great opportunity and an adventure to show students the possibilities of the cross-pollination that's possible when you do cross-cultural philosophy. I think we often forget that the intellectual milieu that we're in right now, although we think of it as modern, we think of it as advanced, we think of it as all-encompassing, that science and humanities cover everything there is to cover. We forget that the educational system we're in comes out of a European context, and we inherit through that certain assumptions of the European intellectual history. And so when we cast our net more broadly, trying to solve the difficult problems of today, we often forget that there are 2,000 or more years of brilliant people in Chinese history and Indian history who have thought about the hard problems of humanity, but we're not ready to grasp their ideas and put them to use today. We promote cognitive diversity in academics today and interdisciplinarity, but that only goes to modern times. In philosophy and in the sciences, we rarely look to the past, especially to other cultures, and try to think how they can help us with difficult problems today. One book I've been working on is called 4 Great Philosophies of Life. In that book, I introduce the philosophies from the past that have been real, what you might call bestsellers over the ages from different cultures. So from European culture, Middle Eastern culture, Chinese culture, and Indian culture. And I try to introduce the fundamental ideas of the philosophies in their own context, and then bring them together to compare the differences and the similarities. If there are important differences that can help us today, it's important to excavate those differences and bring them to light so that we can put to work ideas that have been floating around for many centuries. The second project takes that broad notion that there are ideas from the past that can help us and focuses on one notion from Chinese history called 自然, which is often translated as nature. And I apply that to the field of philosophy of action in one chapter, the field of cognitive science in one chapter, and the field of aesthetics in another chapter, and show how this very important idea, which we really don't have in the Western tradition, can open new doors for us in a diverse range of fields.